What's good, YouTube? American ROX Nation, back at it again. You already know. Shout out to the subscribers. Shout out to the viewers. I want to say greetings to my beautiful people. How has it been? I know it's been a long time since I posted a upload like this. But you know, there's a time and place for everything, right? Alright. So today we're going to be on the topic of blood quantum, okay? And it's very important to know where these terms originated from, okay? It's very key to know why it was created, why it was implemented, and who implemented it, okay? And for what reason it was implemented, okay? So today I'm gonna be reading from encyclopedia.com, okay, on blood quantum and its origins. All right, so let's get to it. Blood quantum, defining race and evolutionary theory, blood quantum and government policy, blood quantum among native tribes, blood quantum in the 21st century, biography, okay? Among native peoples, blood quantum is an ingrained fact of everyday existence. Since its origin and the institutional interjection into numerous federal policies concerning people of indigenous descent, it remains one of the most controversial and divisive issues. Keyword, divisive. This is how they divide and conquer people. We as a people, we knew that we all were related in some way or form, even though we have multiple tribes, okay? We knew that we had relationships, either through marriage, through, parenting, or, the village setting, you know what I'm saying? Because, that's where the term, it takes a village to raise a child came from, okay? Divisive issues afflicting contemporary native North America. And remember, North America is the Caribbean as well, okay, what you call the West Indies. That's North America, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? The origins of blood quantum are directly linked to the development of chattel slavery. Okay, key thing. The origins of blood quantum are directly linked to the development of chattel slavery like they have now. All right. The caste system is no different. Okay. By 1661, the institution of slavery had been formally recognized by Virginia. Now, Virginia is a very key place when it comes to eugenics or eugenicists, right? Because that's where Walter Plecker was and all those German scientists were, okay, at the time. Over the next 40 decades, other colonies formalized slavery as a legal, economic, and social institution. The development of slavery encouraged the construction and separation of races on the basis of phenotype. Okay, people? Remember, American continent has many phenotypes of indigenous or aboriginal or original copper color people, all right? Color defining race. Color as a demarcation of race along with other phenotypic characteristics used to define racial and social inferiority. Remember, also, this is what the BIA used as well. So, Bureau of Indian Affairs, they are actually a subsidiary institution of these eugenicist ideologies, all right? Was supported by a growing body of philosophical and scientific literature holding that Africans, okay, Native Americans, and mulattoes possess inferior intellectual, moral and social qualities which stood in direct opposition to whiteness and its inherent qualities. Okay, so this is where your blood quantum came from. So anytime these people who are at the border are asking you for blood quantum card, you could easily refer them to the fact that blood quantum, right, in its origins came from eugenicist ideologies, okay? And you don't conform to eugenicist ideologies, all right? Because you predate that, all right? The notion of blood quantum was created to track racial ancestry and define legal rights. In 1705, the Commonwealth of Virginia enacted a series of laws that denied certain civil liberties to any Negro, mulatto, or American Indian. Okay, so remember, Negro, mulatto, comma, or, pay attention, American Indian. So it's the same thing, but what they do, they cut it up in various caste systems, right, over time to confuse you, so you don't know who you are based on your skin tone. This is how they use to separate the people. And we have various skin tones, okay? It's a caste system, people. It's slavery. The laws also apply to generations, defining children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren as inferior members of society. Mind you, people, these people are foreigners coming over that come here to set up colonies, and they're defining who we are here, who was here way before they. And we had our own societies, but that they contributed in destroying during the Reconstruction era or the reset era, because it's a reset like now. It's another. This is a reset again. Okay, it never stopped. Okay, covering the fact that you're the original people of the land, taking your rights away from you using paper genocide and all these legalese language. All right, based on their ancestry. Consequently, the descendants of full-blood members, okay, of a race were defined as half-blood, maroon. People, pay attention. Half-blood. So a maroon is really what they define as a half-blood in their quantum, in their blood quantum definition, all right? Quarter-blood, quarter-blood, quadroon. See, and this goes back to the reservations, right? This is why they create the reservations. So it's about this blood quantum theory, okay? Which is a eugenicist ideology, 100% eugenicist ideology, right? Which is 100% unlawful, and they have no right to tell us who we are or put us in a box, okay? Quarter blood quadroon or 8-blood octoroon. So those maroon villages are nothing but reservations, all right? It's the same thing. Following Virginia's example, other colonies adopted similar laws using blood quantum as a mechanism to determine the status, privilege, and rights of a free person or slave. The growing body of laws, although originally rooted in the institution of chattel slavery, evolved into a legal and social system that measured the extent of the participation and privileges associated with full citizenship under the banner of whiteness. One blood quantum became established as a mechanism for assessing inferiority. Its use continued unabated into the 19th century. Increasingly, the development of the progress of American society was guided by the belief in the nation's racial destiny. In his 1839 publication, Crania Americana, Dr. Samuel Morton stated that his studies of skulls showed that Native Americans had a deficiency of higher mental, hear that, powers, and an inaptitude for civilization, making it impossible for natives and Europeans to interact as equals. Thus, the building of an American civilization, including its future social and moral development, would be determined by its racial composition. All right, and this is where you get all that 5 civilized tribes and all this stuff going on. The civil rights movement, it was to integrate within that society of the foreigners. Okay, The construction of an Anglo-Saxon nation that extended from one coast to another under the banner of manifest destiny required the further separation of the races, the removal of indigenous populations, hear that? The removal, the genocide, paper genocide, you mean, authorized by Indian Removal Act of 1830 provided one solution for physically separating the races. Another solution was the passage of laws, this is a paper genocide, right? Prohibiting marriages between European Americans and inferior races. North Carolina early on passed a code that forbade marriages between white and Indian, Negro, Musty, or Mulatto, or any other mixed person to the third generation. Over time, such blood quantum laws concerning race mixing became not only widespread, but also more intensive. Okay, so this is how you have this taking off your land, taking off your titles. This is what they used to take away your status as the original people of the land, okay? Legal identity also became closely attached to blood quantum, and 1866 Virginia decree specified that every person with 1/4 or more Negro blood would be considered a colored person, whereas every person not colored having 1 or more Native American blood would be deemed Indian. So what is it? Is it that because the definition of American is colored people, colored, copper colored people, right? That's the definition of American, right? So when you're talking about colored, they're talking about the Indian, okay? The Negro. Race and evolution theory. After the Civil War, new racial questions arose. Foremost was whether inferior races could be assimilated into a national fold, and whether these races would be a benefit to national progress. These questions coincide with the acceptance of Darwinian evolution. See, it goes back to Darwin. So when you're talking about African and all these, we all come from Africa. This is where it came from, people. The Darwin's theory, okay? This is where it all came from. This is why you're so infused with it and it won't leave your subconscious, because it was beaten to you, right? This Darwinian evolutionary principle that predicted a unity of humankind. The application of Darwinian evolution also was extended to the development of social complexity, not just biology. Therefore, all societies must follow similar but separate trajectories in biosocial development, further limiting the possibilities for the incorporation of inferior races. By the 1880s, most surviving Native American societies have been placed on reservations. You hear that, people? What you call maroon villages, reservations, all the same thing. For some policymakers, reservations were considered a refuge for a declining race that could be salvaged by forcing them out of their inferior state. And this is the principle the BIA uses, people, to this day. This was to be done by breaking up the habits of savagery and replacing them with accoutrements of civilization, hence the 5 civilized tribes. I didn't say it, it's right here. From 1880 until 1934, using evolutionary theory and scientific racism, pay attention to that term, as guiding principles, ethnocide became officially instituted towards solving Indian problem. So people, they literally wipe you off, kill you on paper, calling you black, Negro, colored, all these things, African, and that got nothing to do with you. It's just for their agenda, okay? Blood quantum and the government policy. Blood quantum, an insidious expression of scientific racism, became the centerpiece in many federal policies of forced assimilation. The premise that biophysical characteristics, mental attributes, and cultural capabilities were imparted through a race's blood found a home in management of Indian affairs. Though the passage of the 1887 General Allotment Act, or Dawes Act, right? What they say you need to get under for you to be accepted as an Indian, the Dawes rules, right? It's all eugenicist, people. The degree of a person's Indian blood was used to determine land inheritance among the descendants of original allottees. A lot of these people who got these lands are not the original people. They stole your land through hypergenocide and this blood quantum. Blood quantum